"My name is Drake," the strange man spoke in a faltering voice. I asked him, "Which tribe do you belong to?" I had realized that, despite his outward appearance, this man understood our conversation. He replied, "I come from far away." I asked, "How did you come so far into this forest?" "There was a big fight," he replied. I asked, "Did you fight with someone?" He answered, "Yes, I fought with the chief of my tribe." I asked, "What do you do for a living?" He replied, "I am a witch doctor." I stared at him in amazement because I was also a healer, and this strange man standing before me claimed to be a doctor too. We had heard about witch doctors, who were known to be found in African tribes and treated people using various spells and magic. I asked, "You are a witch doctor. How did you end up in a fight?" "The chief's daughter died, and I couldn't save her. So we fought, and I fled," he explained. I asked, "How long have you been on the run?" "It's been almost a year," he replied. I asked in astonishment, "Have you been wandering in these forests for a year?" "Yes, where else could I go? Many enemies are searching for me." "You are a good person. Will you come with me?" He nodded affirmatively. I told my servant to rest for a while because it was my turn to stay awake and keep watch. My servant lay down to rest, and I continued talking with this strange man. I noticed that his upper body was bare, and he was only wearing a simple loincloth. I asked him, "Aren't you cold?" This mysterious man looked at me as if I had asked a childish question. "I don't feel cold because I take medicine," he said. "What kind of medicine do you take?" I asked in amazement. Drake showed me a berry-like fruit. I examined it closely and asked, "Does eating this fruit prevent you from feeling cold?" He nodded. Where do you find this fruit?" I asked. Drake pointed towards the forest. "From there," he said. By my estimation, it was now around 10 o'clock at night. I told Drake to come with me in the morning. Assuring him that his enemies wouldn't find him, I advised Drake to get some sleep. Like an obedient child, he lay down to sleep nearby. I added more wood to the fire. Keeping the fire lit had the advantage of keeping the forest animals away and providing warmth. Lost in my thoughts, I eventually woke my servant, who had been sleeping. It was now his turn to keep watch. When I woke up, daylight had spread through the forest. I looked around for Drake, but was surprised not to see him. "Where did Drake go?" I asked my servant. "He was just here," the servant replied, looking around in surprise. I told my servant to have breakfast and lunch together because we would be heading back home for good. The servant took out the travel food, a special sweet I had prepared, which satisfied hunger and provided energy. Since we didn't have milk for tea, we decided to make do with herbal tea. Suddenly, we saw Drake approaching from one direction, holding a deer. When he got closer, I saw it was a female deer. I milked her a little into my container and told Drake to let her go. Drake looked at me in astonishment. He gestured with his hand, indicating we should cook and eat the deer, but I told him that it was a female deer and her young ones would be hungry. He released the deer, looking at me with surprise, perhaps astonished by my compassion.